Most entrepreneurs are stuck in the endless cycle of selling. They pitch, they follow up, and they pitch again, but they're not closing. Here's a shocking fact: 80% of sales require 5 or more follow-ups, yet most salespeople give up after just one. That's right, most people quit way too soon. But here's the kicker: 70% of sales happen after the 4th follow-up. If you're not following up enough, you're losing out on major opportunities. So, why is this happening? Why are so many entrepreneurs getting stuck in the selling phase? The truth is simple: they're focusing on selling, not closing. And there's a big difference. Selling is about pushing a product. Closing is about understanding your customer's needs and making the deal happen. In this video, we're going to show you how to make that shift from selling to closing. You'll learn proven strategies to turn your pitches into real sales. We'll dive into why most salespeople fail and how you can avoid the same mistakes. Ready to stop selling and start closing? Keep watching. We're about to change the way you approach every deal. Chapter 1. The Mindset Shift. From seller to closer. The first step to closing more deals is a shift in mindset. Most entrepreneurs start by thinking they need to sell. But here's the truth: selling is not the goal, closing is. When you focus on closing, you focus on solving problems for your customer, not just making a transaction. Instead of trying to sell your product or service, think of yourself as a problem solver. Studies show that customers who feel their problem is understood are 60% more likely to make a purchase. This is why shifting from selling to closing makes all the difference. A good closer listens more than they talk. In fact, research by HBR found that effective salespeople talk only 30% of the time, while the rest is spent asking questions and listening. It's all about asking the right questions, understanding your client's pain points, and then offering the perfect solution. The key here is empathy. When you empathize with the customer's situation, you are no longer selling to them. You are helping them. So, the moment you stop selling and start empathizing, you increase your chances of closing by 50%. That's why your sales process should never feel like a hard pitch. Instead, make it a conversation where the customer feels heard and understood. If you get this right, you're halfway to closing the deal. Chapter 2. The Psychology of Closing. Understanding buyer behavior. To truly understand how to close a deal, you need to understand the buyer's psychology. Think about this. Neuroscience tells us that emotions drive 95% of buying decisions. Yes, people buy with their emotions first, and then justify with logic. So how can you use this to your advantage? Start by triggering emotions that relate to the buyer's need for your product. For example, if you're selling a fitness program, instead of focusing on the workout itself, talk about how it will make them feel healthier, more energetic, or more confident. But there's one thing most salespeople miss. Buyers want to feel like they made the decision themselves. You've probably heard of the fear of missing out, or FOMO. Well, the fear of making the wrong decision is just as powerful. A study from the University of Chicago found that fear of loss is twice as strong as the desire for gain. This is why urgency in closing is so powerful. Giving your prospect a reason to act now, like a limited time offer, taps into their fear of missing out. Another psychological trigger that works well in closing is social proof. 90% of customers trust peer recommendations over brand advertising. So, incorporate testimonials, reviews, or even case studies into your pitch. When buyers see that others have made the same choice and benefited, they feel more secure in their own decision. By understanding the psychology behind buying decisions, you can fine-tune your closing strategy to be more effective and persuasive. Remember, closing isn't about being pushy, it's about making the customer feel confident in their decision. Chapter 3. Crafting irresistible offers. Close with value, not pressure. Creating an irresistible offer is all about adding value to the customer's life. The truth is, most entrepreneurs make a huge mistake by focusing only on the features of their product. But buyers don't care about features, they care about how your product will improve their life. So, instead of focusing on what your product does, focus on what problem it solves. For example, if you're selling a software tool, don't just mention the cool features. Instead, explain how it will save them time, reduce stress, or make their business run smoother. One powerful way to craft an irresistible offer is by using the concept of value stacking. This means you bundle together additional benefits or bonuses that increase the overall perceived value of your offer. If you're offering a course, include free templates, ebooks, or access to a community group. Research shows that people value free bonuses 60% more than they value the product itself. So, adding small extras can make your offer much more appealing. However, while value is important, you also need to make sure that your offer is clear and easy to understand. A study by the Nielsen-Norman Group found that people scan text online and typically read only 20% of the content. If your offer isn't clear within the first few seconds, you may lose the customer's attention. Another key strategy is using scarcity wisely. This doesn't mean tricking people into believing your product is limited when it's not. It means offering a real, honest reason why they need to act fast. Scarcity triggers the brain's survival instinct and can push customers to make a decision faster. Remember, your offer should always feel like a win-win. When you offer genuine value, the customer will feel like they're getting more than what they paid for, which is a key step toward closing. If you're finding this valuable, don't forget to subscribe for more tips and strategies to elevate your sales game. Chapter 4. Mastering the art of the follow-up. Close without the hard sell. Many entrepreneurs think that once a pitch is made, the deal is either won or lost. But the truth is, the follow-up is where most sales happen. A study by the Harvard Business Review found that 80% of sales require at least 5 follow-ups after the initial contact. That means the fortune is in the follow-up. But here's the key: you don't want to follow up like a salesman. No one wants to hear, "Just checking in." Instead, approach your follow-up like a value-add conversation. Offer something new, like an article, a case study, or even an insight that directly addresses a pain point they mentioned earlier. The most successful closers understand that follow-ups shouldn't just be about pushing for a decision. They should be about building trust and showing that you genuinely care. According to Forbes, 70% of people say they prefer to buy from businesses that show empathy. One interesting statistic is that 48% of salespeople give up after one follow-up, but a single follow-up can increase your chances of closing by 20%. In other words, persistence wins, but persistence with value is what wins big. The timing of your follow-up is just as important. According to InsideSales.com, contacting a lead within the first 5 minutes increases your chances of converting by 900%. That's because customers often shop with urgency. If you respond quickly, they're more likely to think you're reliable. Follow-ups don't need to be one size fits all. Personalize your messages based on previous conversations. A message that refers to a specific need or problem shows that you're paying attention and that your offer is tailored. When you follow up like this, you build rapport and increase trust. Lastly, don't be afraid to follow up multiple times, but don't overdo it. 3 to 5 follow-ups are typically enough to stay top of mind without being too pushy. Chapter 5. The Power of Storytelling. How to close by captivating, not convincing. Storytelling is one of the most powerful tools in closing deals. It's not just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. Humans are wired to remember stories 22 times more than just facts alone. Think about it. How often have you bought something after hearing a compelling story that made you feel connected? When you tell a story, you build a bridge between you and the customer. A great story doesn't just describe the product, it describes how the product or service transforms lives. Whether it's a success story from a past customer or a personal anecdote, storytelling makes your offer feel real and tangible. A study from Nielsen found that 92% of people trust recommendations from family, friends, or colleagues, but even beyond that, storytelling has been shown to influence 65% of purchase decisions. Why? Because people don't buy products, they buy outcomes. They want to know how your product will change their world for the better. For example, instead of just saying, "Our software boosts productivity," you could share a story of how a small business owner used it to double their sales in 6 months. This taps into the emotions of your potential customer, helping them see themselves in the same position. The key to using storytelling in sales is making the story relatable. Customers don't want to hear about how amazing you are, they want to hear about how you helped someone just like them. It's about showing the journey from problem to solution, not just focusing on the solution itself. If you're enjoying these strategies, make sure to subscribe for more ways to close like a pro. Chapter 6. Mastering the close, the science of sealing the deal. Every time closing a deal is more science than art. It's about using the right strategies at the right time. The truth is, sales is a process, not a single moment. And when you understand the science behind closing, it becomes much easier to execute. One powerful strategy is the assumptive close. Instead of asking if the customer wants to buy, assume they already have. For example, you might say, "What delivery date works best for you?" This presumes they're already on board and shifts the conversation to the next step. Research by HubSpot has shown that the assumptive close works in 65% of cases. Another effective method is the urgency close. People hate missing out, and if they feel they'll lose the opportunity, they'll act quickly. This technique works especially well when combined with limited time offers or a special promotion. In fact, sales studies show that urgency can increase conversion rates by up to 40%. The value close is another technique that builds on the value you've already demonstrated. At this stage, the buyer has heard the benefits, and they're ready to make a decision. The value close works by reiterating the key benefits, then asking for the sale. A simple line like, "Given all the value we've discussed, I'm confident this is the best solution for you. Shall we move forward?" is powerful. Salesforce's research shows that 60% of deals are won after the buyer has heard the value proposition 3 times. This shows that repetition helps solidify the decision, and the buyer needs a final nudge to push them over the edge. That's where the close comes in. This is the final moment when you secure the commitment. It's important to note that the best closers are those who are willing to walk away if the deal isn't right. Don't beg or pressure the customer. If you've truly understood their needs and offered a genuine solution, your confidence will shine through, and that can be a huge driver in closing. Finally, be prepared for objections. Objections are just buying signals. When a prospect says, "I'm not sure," it's not a no, it's an opportunity to dive deeper. Objection handling is a skill, and 85% of the time, addressing concerns increases the chance of closing. Whether it's price or timing, a well-thought-out response can seal the deal. In the end, closing a sale isn't about being aggressive or pushy. It's about being confident, offering value, and guiding your customer through a decision-making process that benefits both parties. When you've mastered the science of closing, sales will become a much smoother, more predictable process.